So we're in the lab today, and this is the Twinleaf MS-1L, which is a tiny version, basically, of the hypomagnetic chamber that we used for the tadpole experiment. This is a commercial system, and as you can see, you have multiple layers of metal, which is called mu metal, which is shielding for the Earth's magnetic field or magnetic fields from the environment. And so we'll ship this one to our biologist Michael Montague in Maryland. And before then, we've used this in the past for a few experiments. But basically what I need to do is to test it, calibrate it, and basically set up a procedure for Mike to use to get it ready for the experiment each and every time he performs one. So the first step that I'm going to tackle is the degaussing. So degaussing is a procedure which basically removes any partial magnetization of the material, the mu metal. The mu metal can be magnetized if it comes in contact even with the Earth's magnetic field. It can get like partially magnetized, and this degaussing procedure basically ensures that we remove that residual magnetization and that the shielding of the magnetic field is optimal. So basically to do that, we want to run a cable through the Twinleaf like you can see in this picture right here, and we want to have it done so that it goes through and it basically runs through the Twinleaf 3 times, and then we're gonna put the cable at basically 120 degrees and then let it run parallel on the side of the Twinleaf here. You can do that just by passing the wire inside, but that's a big pain, especially if you need to do it relatively often, like Mike will need to do. And so I'm developing some scrappy way of basically making Mike's life easier and making the degaussing process pretty smooth. And that involves a tube. And when it's closed, you need to perform the degaussing, and you need to run cables in the middle, and so that would be a bit of a pain with like a loose cable trying to get it into the other side. The idea is to use this tube and basically have it go through, and you can easily see that it goes through it. The ends are here. What I want to do is to design a little piece to put at the end of the tube here, so that I can basically have some connectors in there, and I will basically solder the wires going through the tube so that I can use the part of the connectors to basically go in. When it's in, like this, having the connectors on one side and then basically loose cables on the other side. And the idea is that I just grab the loose cable, run it over to the other side, and connect it to the right connector on the other side. That is how I can basically apply the degaussing procedure. So maybe just a bit more details on the degaussing procedure. This is a procedure that, as I said, makes sure that you don't have any residual magnetization in the mu metal, and this can be done by applying basically a ramp of AC current, so alternating current, at a pretty low frequency. I'm usually using about 40 Hertz with one of these generators right there, and basically you ramp the current up all the way to 8 to 10 amps, and then slowly over the course of 1 to 2 minutes. You ramp it down, and that basically ensures that the magnetic domains in your material will be randomized. Basically, there's a bunch of magnetic domains inside of mu metal. Mu metal responds to magnetic field very strongly. And by doing this procedure, basically you're randomly orienting due to the alternating current that goes one way or the other, one way or the other. You're randomly orienting all these domains so that the macroscopic effect is that there's no net magnetization that is left. And basically this is what ensures an optimal shielding from the external magnetic fields to the inside of the twin leaf, where we want to have as low a field as possible. The first challenge in all of this is to actually design something that will hold the connectors for the wire at one of the ends of the tube here. So basically I 3D printed this little piece right here. Hopefully you can see it. And what this does is it basically inserts into the tube. It's quite a tight fit, but that's how I designed it, because once I put it in there, I don't want it to slip out. So I'm not gonna push it all the way in, but the idea is that these will go in pretty securely in the tube. These are the connectors for the cables to connect to. These are banana type connectors, and the idea is that I will take this guy, put it there, and I can secure it with the other side of the connector. Something like this. And the result is something like this, where you have the connectors here, and on this side I will basically solder the wires that I'm gonna use for the degaussing, and these will go here in the tube, and the wires will basically run through the tube, and then I will be able to take the other end of the wire and create a loop by connecting to one of the other connectors here. I had to wait for the wire to arrive because I had to order it on Amazon, so now it's here. So what I did was I basically soldered, it needs to be fixed, but I soldered one part of the cable here, and then I'm gonna put the connector on the other side, and then so I just wanted to see now if this is long enough to make it all the way. Indeed it is more than long enough to make it to the other side, and so I can just do the same with the other two wires to put to solder to the connector here. Then we'll put the connectors on the other side, and then we go test it out. We're done here. I've connected the 3 cables. As you can see, I use different colors just to make it easier to figure out which one of these goes where, and I'm gonna basically color these part with the same color of the cable so that Mike instantly knows where to put which cable. I kept this one way longer because that's gonna go directly to the power source. What is left to do is to actually put the cables through the tube. This is it. Now I can actually fix this guy here into the tube, sort of permanently. So I'm gonna push, just brute forcing it. That's how I do things. Okay, so I use this little file here, and now I managed to get it in, and it's very, very stable. So it's a nice tight fit. And now let's test a little bit the length so that I can cut these two guys to the proper length that I need in order to go around the twin leaf. Here's the twin leaf. Let's put this guy inside. Okay, so here it is. Let's test out. The idea is that it needs to do this, then need to basically go in with the connector here. So I think somewhere around these length, and then here I'm gonna put the connector. Also, I'm gonna put some stickers here with the ones that are used for cable management, so that when we want to do the degaussing, I can just put the cable inside here. And again, I'm gonna remove this guy and put the other ones about here on the sides, so that's roughly a 120-degree angle, and we get the magnetic field that is generated by the degaussing, the alternating magnetic field that is going to be relatively uniformly distributed all over the cylindrical shape of the twin leaf. So, of course, there was one other thing that I didn't consider, and is that this is the magnetometer. It's actually a very expensive piece of equipment. This is an OPM, optically pumped magnetometer. Basically, it works with quantum properties to be able to test magnetic field at very, very tiny scales. And this works up to about 15 nanotesla, which is about 1,000 times lower than the Earth's magnetic field. And doesn't really work above that, but it works from about 15 nanotesla to about 1 nanotesla of sensitivity. And so this is the range of this magnetometer. But the thing is that I'm gonna be having a hard time for it to stay in a fixed position, and I want to know where this is. So I want to have some holder kind of thing that basically keeps it in a fixed position over here. So what I'm gonna do is basically design a holder for the magnetometer here and 3D print it, and so that I can use a couple screws to fix it, and then just insert the magnetometer in a specific position that is aligned with the axis of the twin leaf. And then in that way I will be able to perform the minimization of the field inside of the twin leaf and the calibration in a much cleaner way than just having the sensor hanging somewhere without a really fixed position. Okay, so here we are. I designed and 3D printed this guy here, and basically the Q-spin goes in here. We have 2 holes to screw this guy on the platform there, and as you can see, I already placed the Q-spin inside here, and we can see that fits right in pretty nicely. And so now I'm just gonna screw it in at the center here. Support for the magnetometer has been screwed in. I put in the magnetometer here. This is the procedure to set up the degaussing system. And we're gonna close this up with all the caps. We have this guy, goes inside here. Perfect. Carefully. Okay. Green cable goes on top. I'm pretty sure about that. We're gonna have the blue cable on the bottom side, and this guy goes here. There we go. Okay, so now you have that this guy will go into the power supply. The power supply, I connected it with these two cables, so this can just go here. Just need to make sure that I don't go touching this stuff and some other thing to not get electrocuted. I don't think anything is gonna happen because the resistance in this is negligible, but anyways. And this guy will go directly here. Everything is set up for the degaussing to take place. I will just need to basically use the power supply to give in the AC current that is needed for the degaussing. And I kept these wires pretty long because likely these will be inside of an incubator, and we'll need to run the cables outside and to the power supply when it's gonna be in the lab in Maryland. But yeah, for now, I'll set up the Q-spin to get a measurement of the residual magnetic field before doing the degaussing, and then we'll do the degaussing and test again a few times to see how effective the procedure is.